Hello everyone, Brian Neubert here from GoldandBlack.com, live in Mackey Arena, where Purdue just concluded its fan day scrimmages, which unfortunately were not air conditioning day scrimmages. This is your GoldandBlack.com rap video, kicking off season, whatever this is, 17, whatever the hell. We invented the internet. I don't know how long we've been doing this, but it's a time-honored tradition, and we're sticking to it again this year, starting with today's open scrimmages here in Mackey Arena. Thank you to the Purdue Club Hotel for your support. As always, we appreciate it very much. So Purdue, perhaps you've heard, has a good basketball team this year. And I think the folks, 5,000 strong, however many the number was, saw that today. They saw a team with a lot of players, a lot of options, a lot of things to sort out, but much less to sort out than probably 97% of their peers in college basketball right now. I think Purdue is a very complete team. I think they're a very experienced team. Obviously, you're aware, Purdue has two of the best players in college basketball, in Braden Smith and Trey Kaufman-Renn. They've got the best senior class in college basketball, undoubtedly. I have no idea what anyone else has in terms of senior classes, but they're not better than Braden Smith, Trey Kaufman-Renn, Fletcher Lawyer, Oscar Clough, Liam Murphy. So I'm very comfortable saying Purdue has the best senior class in college basketball. Purdue has a great thing going that they've been unbelievably consistent here the last few years. The professionalism in this program, the quote-unquote culture in this program, the approach this program generally takes that filters down to the players, very, very strong. This is probably the most stable program in college basketball. Again, I don't know who I'd even add to that conversation. But Purdue's in a really good place right now. They've got arguably the best team in college basketball. The AP voters are best and brightest, all of them. Certainly agree they voted Purdue number one in the preseason. Fourth time in 5 years, Purdue's been number one in the AP poll. Speaks to the consistency this program has managed to manufacture, but also validates Matt Painter's approach to program building in an era that is distinctly anti-program building versus team building. This is kind of the culmination of it. You know, Purdue had an unbelievable team 2 years ago that came a win short of the national title. This team might be better. I don't know. It would be a great thought exercise to sit down with somebody who really knows both teams inside and out and have that conversation. Would this team beat that team? I have no idea. We'll save that for a different platform at some point in time. But this team is, in fact, loaded. And I think its loadedness is part of the complication that Purdue is going to have to sort through here in advance of this season and during this season. And first off, unbelievable problem to have. As far as problems go, this is the best of the best. If you have to choose between not having enough good players and having too many good players, if you have to choose between being great at 3 things offensively or being good at 100 things offensively, you take this. You take having 12 guys who can play for you. I always say depth isn't depth until depth is proven. Until then, it's just numbers. But I think when Purdue this year says we've got 12 guys who can play, they've got 12 guys who can play. I don't play, so I shouldn't. I'm quoting themselves. Never mind. When they say that they have 12 guys who can play, I think it's valid. Now, bear in mind, I'm not just showing up here these last couple weeks and watching this team. I'm not just looking at this on paper. I go to practices regularly in the summer. I cover this 12 months a year, and I don't see much that Purdue doesn't have. I think Purdue is a very complete team. I think they can beat you 100 different ways. I think all of the margins that held them back last year have been filled in and then some, specifically rebounding, which I think you're going to find out this year. You're going to realize this year how important rebounding actually is. It's not just regaining possession. It's starting your offense. It's drawing fouls. It's things like that that add up and really ripple out into the entire game. And I think Purdue was deficient in that area. They had to overachieve. They had to really put Trey Kaufman-Renn in harm's way, just trying to survive on the glass. They had to probably dedicate more mental bandwidth, more attention to it, more bodies to it than would have been ideal to get started offensively. Still, Purdue was one of the best offensive teams in college basketball, but the fast break points, weren't what they could have been otherwise. I think this year you're going to see a team that is sound on its back end defensively because you have rim protection, you have size. Ideally, Purdue's perimeter defense will get to a point where you don't need that size as much, but you sure as hell enjoy having it when you get a block shot every month or two, unlike last season, and you're pretty good as a defensive rebounding team. That was the single biggest thing that held Purdue back last year. That was a fundamentally flawed team as soon as Daniel Jacobson went out for the year. There was no telling what would have happened had Daniel Jacobson not got hurt. He was still a freshman. He was still physically underdeveloped. So you can't say with Daniel Jacobson, Purdue goes to the Final Four or whatever, but it certainly would have helped. This year, Oscar Clough and Daniel Jacobson both give Purdue the defensive rebounding presence and the rim protection presence you did not have last year. It makes you more physical. Theoretically, more fouls should come your way. Those things add up. The battle of attrition that Purdue's been winning for years due to size maybe comes back, even though Clough and Jacobson probably aren't going to be featured guys offensively right away. Size tends to attract fouls. And that was another issue with Trey Kaufman-Renn having to play center last year, was that he's battling like hell on the boards. He picks up those fouls, and then when he gets in foul trouble, goes out of the game. You're in a tough spot. This year, Trey Kaufman-Renn comes out. You have other things you can do offensively. Your second unit offense, this year's second unit. I don't know who the first unit is. I don't know who the second unit is. But I'm just saying, you go 1 through 5, and then you go 6 through 10. 6 through 10 now can score. And I think you have guys in Omer Mayer, you have centers you can throw the ball to, you have a guy in Jack Benner who I think you can run pick and roll two-man game stuff with, and he will be an effective offensive player for you. But you got to be careful. You got to be careful to not try to do too much as opposed to at the expense of what you do really, really well. And there are only so many possessions in college basketball games, so you can't get inundated with your options and start doing stuff that's not necessarily your strength versus going to your strength. That's what people always didn't grasp about Zach Edey shooting threes. It's like, well, is Zach Edey shooting a three better for Purdue than Zach Edey getting the ball 6 inches from the basket? No, it isn't. This year, Purdue's going to run pick and roll with Trey Kaufman-Renn, Braden Smith. Fletcher Loyer's going to play off that. The big guys are going to play off that even further. Trey Kaufman-Renn's going to be completely unlocked as a passer. His assist numbers are going to double. I don't know what he averaged last year, but I'm guessing it was less than 3, in which case they're going to close to double. I'm going to hedge that. He's going to get way more assists this year than he did last year because those bigs diving off that pick and roll are going to be sitting there right at the rim with nobody covering them. And Purdue could not finish those plays last year. Purdue was really, really bad, for lack of a better term, at the rim last year, excluding Trey Kaufman-Renn, the others. And not to throw dirt on the people who have departed, but those open dunks around the basket are going to be dunks now. When somebody closes out on Jack Benner this year, when he's in the game at the 4, Jack Benner can dribble. Jack Benner can handle the ball, get all the way to the basket, pass off closeouts, shoot off closeouts. He can do things off of closeouts. Purdue could not do that last year with the guys who were playing off the pick and roll action. Miles Golden, Camden Heide, Caleb First, etc. Again, not throwing those guys under the bus, but there were real limitations in terms of the offensive skill level. They're complementing Braden Smith, Trey Kaufman-Renn, Fletcher Loyer. So that stuff is all fixed now. It goes from weakness to strength, most likely. I think, again, you have a ton of players for only so many minutes. I think Jakari Harris and C.J. Cox have both been tremendous. Jakari Harris all summer C.J. Cox here lately has really, really been good. He was great in these scrimmages today. You have 2 starters at that position. That says nothing of Omer Mayer, who's going to be an NBA prospect, who was also very, very good here today. Purdue's got to take care of the basketball. That's always the poison pill. When you're this good offensively and you still have to fight like hell to be good enough defensively to not leave your offense hanging out to dry, you can't give up layups. You can't give up fast break points. You can't give up putbacks. I think that stuff gets cleaned up to a considerable extent this year, and that productivity gap from what you were lacking to what you now have is a huge cushion, a game-changing cushion for Purdue this year. That's me looking at things both on paper and in flesh and blood here in events like today. So Purdue's going to have some hard decisions to make in terms of who plays how much. Some guys, as has been well noted, and this has been a consistent theme over 5-6 years now, some guys are going to play less than they might somewhere else. They're going to get fewer shots than they might somewhere else. That has been a hallmark of this program, is a guy who might have earned a 30-minute type role only playing 20 and being okay with it because winning is what's important to them. I have no doubt in my mind that this team is wired that way, but ultimately when push comes to shove, that's what everybody here has to prove they're okay with. But outside of that, Purdue's deep as hell. They're complete as a team, top to bottom. If you're looking for a flaw to nitpick, they're not the most athletic team in the world, but athleticism did nothing for Purdue last season in terms of making them better than what they were. So if your inability to jump over the rim costs you a game this year, I'll be damned, because that stuff's not what wins in the Big Ten. So Purdue's got it all, and Purdue can. I normally take a different approach to this sort of thing because so much can happen in 3 months and so much luck is involved, but Purdue can win a national title. This is a team that has the pieces in place, has the pedigree here in this collective group's experience to win a national title. Whether they do or not, I have no idea. Whether they can or not, ultimately, I have no idea. You got to stay healthy. You got to get through the regular season without being exposed in areas you don't see coming. But if you could see it coming, it wouldn't be a surprise. I don't know what the hell that means. Anyway, so that's some thoughts. Those are some thoughts. That's some thoughts would be completely grammatically incorrect and unbecoming of someone who should know how to use words correctly. So those are some thoughts here from Purdue's Fan Day scrimmages. Not just Purdue's Fan Day scrimmages, but also the entire preseason, the entire offseason, etc. So that's what I got. I will talk to you guys again on Friday night from Kentucky, Rupp Arena, for Purdue's exhibition game against Kentucky, as I mentioned. So I hope everyone has a lovely afternoon. I hope Purdue football, based on what I've seen so far here while I record this, isn't ruining that afternoon for you. But thank you to the Purdue Club Hotel for your support. As always, we appreciate it. So for GoldandBlack.com, this is Brian Neubert. Thank you for watching. Thank you for reading. Thank you for listening. And thank you for processing our materials. No matter how it is you process our materials. And shameless plug time here, guys. This weekend alone at GoldandBlack.com, I covered 2 of Purdue's basketball commitments in person last night at La Lumiere. Dub from our staff covered a Purdue football commitment in Chicago. We're going to have a game-like coverage package from this Fan Day scrimmage. These Fan Day scrimmages, plural. Tom and Dub are both in Evanston right now watching Purdue Northwestern. They're going to have a full array of coverage. There is no better time to subscribe to GoldandBlack.com than right now. And there's really no excuse not to. If you haven't by now, I don't know what to tell you. But if you're insane enough to have spent the last 14 minutes and 43 seconds of your life watching this idiot talk, chances are our site is for you. So by all means, check it out. And we don't think you'll be disappointed. So I'll have much more from here to come. And we'll talk to you next week from Lexington, Kentucky. So thanks, everybody.